Hey, hey, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. We have hit number 46. And I won't hold y'all long today because I do want to get this next video finished. I'm almost done and I'm going to drop it here shortly. But I wanted to cover some things that have been coming up in the media this week. I will say that things are moving fast. So before I get started, I do want to ask how y'all's week have been. How's it going? What's new with you? I hope everything is going well. So, oh gosh, how do I start this off? I guess I'm just going to have to kick it off just how I know to. Candace Owens has announced that she has circulated a dead man switch. For all of you who do not know what a dead man switch is, it's supposed to be like an insurance policy. It's information that you wouldn't normally put out unless you're dead. And once you die, you drop it so that everything is uncovered and put out into the open. It's interesting that they call it an insurance policy because if you're not familiar with the whole Anthony Weiner case, Anthony Weiner actually had in his files on his laptop a file called insurance. And within that file was the whole frazzle drip situation. If you don't know what frazzle drip is, it is the video that has Hillary Clinton and Uma Abadan, which is Anthony Weiner's ex-wife, on it, sacrificing a child. Would never watch it myself. I hear it's one of the most horrible things that you could watch. But nonetheless, he had a folder called insurance. Isaac Cappy, before he died, had a dead man switch and he released it. Unfortunately, Isaac Cappy's dead man switch didn't have faces on it. And so although it was released, we still don't know who the culprits were. Now, as I've said, Candace Owens has announced that she has in fact circulated her dead man switch, but I'm going to let you hear what she has to say so that we can get caught up to speed on this.
I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay. I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there, that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. sent everything around to about 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I've ranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages, and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's coming from.
Now, that was the video of her speaking of the dead man switch and how she has circulated it. And then she also tweeted, I'm just going to show you this so once again that we're on the same page. She actually tweeted out all the people, I don't know if it's all the people, but just a list of people who she says that she sent it to: the Tate brothers, Dave Smith, Max Blumenthal, Tucker Carlson, Mel, not sure who that is. She sent it out to Turning Point, Prager U, Daily Wire, and then just private conversations with Seth Dillon and Dave Rubin. So, hey, Freddie B, what's going on? I hope everything is well. So there were a lot of conversations, obviously, in the comment section of her video. And a lot of people were wondering why she doesn't just release it now. What's up? What's up? Good evening. Good to see you all. And so my question to you is because again, Dead Man Switch, it's in the name, but again, they're getting upset because Candace is not dropping it now. But when is the good time to drop a Dead Man Switch? Should you drop it once you have the information? Or are you still leveraging things by withholding the information until it just so happens that you pass away? That's my question. And again, I remember Isaac Happy's Dead Man Switch, and he had it. I don't know when he dropped it, but he ended up losing his life anyways. And so does it behoove Candace Owens to release the information now so that we all know who the culprits are? Or should you wait until after you're gone? Jesus King 370 says, once they find out you have the info. And so that's the crazy thing about it, because she's telling everybody that she has this info. She's telling everybody that she's got text messages and files and things like that. And now she's even gone to the point where she's telling everybody who she sent the dead man switch to. And I don't really know how it goes. I don't know how it goes, but should she be telling us who has it? He said, I'll probably release it before my deathbed. And the thing is, well, as far as her situation is concerned, she doesn't know when it's coming, if it's coming. She doesn't know when. And so she said that she has given explicit permission that if she was to pass, that they have permission to release it. I hate to say it, but I'm almost like, I think you're already compromising yourself just by letting us know that this is what you have and who you gave it to. And she said something very, very telling in her video, because she speaks about Kanye often, about how Kanye was able to get out. And then she goes in to say, why can't you just let us leave, pretty much? Why can't you just then let us say what it is that we want to say, believe what we want to believe, and then you believe what you want to believe? So to me, that tells me that she was, in fact, in bed with these people. or she is in fact in bed with these people and now she's trying to get out. And so that's why she's hooking up with people like Kanye and Andrew Tate and the people who have, I guess, vilified themselves. You know, they've done so much to where the industry is like, I'm not even going to fool with you. And so now they're quote unquote out of their contracts. He said, this is off topic, but there's a YouTuber named Morbid Melon who talks about the situations like this, but in animation form. So is he speaking about, okay, talking about what exactly? Is he talking about dead man switches and when to release them and how to get out of these contracts? So this is what these people are trying to do. And I understand where she's coming from. She's trying to let them know, like, listen, I have info on you, so you better back up off me. I get where she's coming from. But to go on record and say you're not going to know where it's coming from, but then you let us know the people that you gave the switch to me, that just doesn't make sense. And so it seems as though, you know, I feel like her life is really in danger. And she's doing everything that she can to save it. But then a lot of people are coming from the angle, from the point where you can't get out of this because look who your husband is. And you just quote unquote kind of converted to Catholicism, and the Vatican is in bed with these higher ups. So how far are you really going to get? Morbid Melon talks about celebrity occultism, blood sacrifices, and etc. Yeah, they're in deep. These poor people, I hate to say, but these people are in deep. And they're running for their lives right now because of all the stuff that they've been into and all the hands that they've put in these pots. They're scrambling to get out. And I'm not trying to talk down. You know, it's got to be a scary situation, especially knowing that these people do not care whose lives they take. And they will make a spectacle out of you, as we can see. They've done it over and over and over again throughout the ages. You never let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, because they have to already know that she knows something. And so, I just think she's saying too much. But again, I know that she's probably just scrambling right now. So I don't know. I think massive prayers need to go up. I hope she's praying. I don't know who she's praying to these days. But the only person that's going to deliver her out of these hands is the Lord. There's no one can save her right now because they're all in bed together. And I think you've also put a mark on all these other people's heads. For y'all who were not here, these are the people who she listed that she gave the dead man switch to. The Tate brothers, Dave Smith, Max Blumenthal, Tucker Carlson. I don't know who this male person is. Turning Point, PragerU, Daily Wire, Seth Dillon, Dave Ruud. Like Daily Wire? Daily Wire, weren't they the ones that fired you? Weren't they the ones who you were talking to when you were saying that you weren't going to sit in Charlie Kirk's seat? You weren't going to just mosey your way on in there and sit in his seat as though you were, messing with him while he was alive? You've really put it in your hands to trust these people to release your dead man switch when you're gone? Turning point, I don't know, because again, they are dropping some massive um information on Mrs. Kirk, how she's been kicked out of different countries for child trafficking, how she was a beauty pageanter along, in Trump's beauty pageants, how she ain't really shed no tears since he's been gone. I mean, out in the public. Just a lot of things are coming out about this young lady. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. You said, hell, my right hand is so greedy that it pinches my left. Just joking. Yeah, she's, man, it's deep waters. I'm sorry to say it's deep waters. But I think they think that they're covered, right? But don't we see this all the time? Don't we see the devil turn on these people all the time? And then they come running out of it, trying to run to, I hate to say, you're trying to run to us as though we can do anything about it. But these were your friends for a long time. This is who you were breaking bread with. Y'all was getting money together. So what you want us to do about it? I mean, she's brave as heck for standing up as she's doing. But I think it would have been silent if Charlie Kirk hadn't been murdered. I think they would have still been going along with the game. Not him, because obviously he had denied getting funds. He wasn't trying to be bribed, and he wasn't trying to go along with who anymore. But I don't know. It's just a sad turn of events, y'all. That's all I can say. It's a sad turn of events, and I really can't even stomach seeing anybody else get taken out like that on the camera. I just can't see it. Especially people that you see, even if it's just on the internet every day. I can't even stomach that. So prayers to her, but it's getting deep.
I went ahead this
Sorry.
week of your own
I didn't
soul.
mean to play that again. He said, I could be very wrong, but I think she wants her so-called exit plan, the stage fake death and create another alias. I mean, but how is she going to, I guess I'm asking, who is she going to ask that of? Who can grant her the request? Who is staging these so-called fake deaths? But no, she absolutely wants an exit plan. She absolutely wants that because she can't stop referencing Kanye and how he got out. She can't, and I don't blame her. Obviously, now that becomes someone who you admire because he was speaking out. And now you're all of a sudden Oh, Kanye was right. We been knew Kanye was right. Where were your antennas? You said I never watched the Kirk video. When I saw it was by accident because it was just, oh, he's been shot, and they played it as if it was a news clip, and then, but I didn't see the close up. I didn't see all of what everyone else saw. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't even be able to get that picture out of my mind. Like I told you, I have a weak stomach, so I can't see things like that. Um, but yeah, that's not something that we need to see. That's all I know. But I think that they have to put it out there so that it scares the rest of us and we don't try to do the same thing. Like, we got to make an example out of somebody. He said, I don't know who would grant her the request. Yeah. So again, don't know who all she's in bed with, because she's saying that she's getting text messages and calls and things like that. Somebody got her phone number. Somebody who she knows is doing this to her. And so who would be the one to put in the call to say, hey, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that we are past the point of it even mattering about having a dead man switch, because time is moving so fast towards the end. And I think everybody sees now that people are not going to be prosecuted. People are not going to get in trouble for the crimes that they've done. Like Cappy, Cappy's switch is circulating on the internet. People don't care. Have y'all seen it? It's moving real fast. And the more and more they talk about this treaty, I guess they haven't used the word treaty, but the more they talk about this agreement and stopping the ceasefire and all this other stuff, I'm like, it could be one of those rumors of wars, it could be, not the end quite yet, but it really just gives me an uneasy feeling. Every time I see Trump talking about making an agreement with someone, or I'm just like, oh, here we go. Here we go. But what's interesting is, one of the people on her list who's really going hard in the paint is Tucker Carlson. And he said, I have a question. Do you believe the mothership touching down on Earth and talking to the rulers of the earth? Do I believe in the mothership touching down on Earth and talking to the rulers of the earth? Um, yeah, I would say so. Now, I don't know. So I have different ideas, I guess, of what the mothership is, but from my last bit of research, it was Nibiru. And so how we've all been told that it was this planet that was hiding, dark and, way back in the galaxy and has, made its appearance. I'm hearing that it's actually, I guess, like a giant UFO, I guess, type of thing. But I absolutely believe that whatever these so-called aliens are, Anunnaki, whatever they're called, I absolutely think that they are in touch and have been talking to the rulers of this earth. One, because they've said it out their own mouths. They've been writing about it. They have treaties about it where they are promising to give us over in order to get these secret technologies and things like that. And not only that, but if you notice, they all have the same agenda. And that's actually what I was about to touch on with Tucker Carlson. Let me play this for you real quick so that you can see. It's a real short. You gotta watch it for yourself. But
these guys, what was interesting about Nick Land is that they keep getting the same ideas. These guys take drugs, whether it's Elon, Nick Land, or even in the 70s, the scientist John C. Lilly. John C. Lilly was an eminent scientist, brilliant dude. He started doing ketamine, the same drug everyone does in Silicon Valley. And when they do this drug, and even if you're an atheist materialist, this is still interesting, they all get the same idea, which is that the machines are, coming. It's like Skynet and Terminator. They're coming together. They're evolving to eventually take over, and that we are hanging ourselves with the rope we're currently building by building this. But this goes back. Nick Land was interesting, but he became.
Okay, so again, real short clip. Again, you got to watch it because he even goes into okay, so pretty much what this guy is talking about is how all of the tech giants, all of the CEOs and things like that, they're all having the same vision of them creating this AI and them believing that they are doing us a disservice by creating this AI. And this is going to be the destruction of us. And they're all getting the same vision. Now, yes, he goes on to say that they have been taking a drug called ketamine. I don't know what's going on in Silicon Valley. I don't know about that. He said everybody in Silicon Valley is taking this. Y'all got to let me know what's up with that. But he said that everybody is getting the same vision. And that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about the fact that all of these people have been hearing from these entities, and these entities have been giving them the same agenda to carry out. And so all of their minions here on Earth, what they do is they create these societies, secret societies, whether it's the fraternities and the sororities, or whether it's, Bilderberg or whatever. And they go and they have these meetings about the agenda, and everybody plays a part in it. And they put their people at the tops of all of these different industries so that they call the shots. And then everybody that's on the bottom rungs just have to follow along. If they want their jobs, if they want, their livelihoods, they have to follow along with the agenda. And this is what's been going on. This is what's been going on for years. And it's going on in every single industry. And what's so crazy is that this guy was like, he even talked about the serpent being worshipped in every civilization. And that's exactly what I'm always talking about. So even he sees it. He's a demonologist, by the way. So I just don't think it's a coincidence. As far-fetched as it may seem, I can't even wrap my mind around the fact that I believe in these beings, but what the evidence is showing is that these things really exist and that they really have communication. And this is exactly why we're not supposed to be talking to them and worshiping them in the first place. I mean, I'm seeing that now. I mean, of course, we know that we're not supposed to be worshiping idols and, people who are not in things and people that are not God. But now I'm seeing exactly why we're not supposed to be talking to these things. They have they have an agenda to bring about the Antichrist. And again, they all have different jobs in this. The witches have different jobs. Some of them are meant to go into these churches and corrupt the pastors and corrupt the constituents sitting in the pews. You've got some that are supposed to bring about death, whether it's in the hospitals and things that you ever heard about the angels of death. Some of them are meant to do that. Some of them are meant to do sacrifices in the woods and stuff like that, because again, bloodshed is going to be one of the things that brings the Antichrist about. You've got some people that they're just there to sow discord, to teach heresies, whether it's in the textbooks or wherever. They are all playing their part. And they're hearing from these different entities, and they have been called different things throughout the ages. But when you really listen to their testimonies, they're all because again, I think we've been misled about even what planets are. But then when you really look into like the history and stuff of what it's really a wandering star, and you know how these people love stars. You know how they love the constellations and the different star clusters, and they think that beings are coming from those different constellations to again have conversations with them. And wandering not only means to like travel through the sky, it also means in the sense of erring from God's ways, which again is also very telling. So, I mean, it all makes sense once you start reading these things and piecing it all together. Ketamine is a gateway drug that makes you tap into the universe. That's what those people say, but I wouldn't try those powerful drugs. Oh, okay. Um, that's crazy. I don't, and let me, what's making them all, okay, so do they know that this is what the drug does? Or they just happen to all be doing drugs and then they find out, you know? I just don't know. And see, I guess I ask that question all the time. Are these people into this stuff beforehand, or do they get into this stuff once they start surrounding themselves with different people who have these belief systems? Because what would be the reason why you just start taking this drug? I I don't know. I don't know. But what's also crazy is that they are hearing that we are headed towards destruction with the building of these systems, and they're doing it anyway. They are doing it anyway. They all know what the drug is, and some know beforehand and just join in on the so-called fun. I guess so. I guess so. And I mean, I guess I have a lot of questions because y'all know what it is beforehand. and you all are getting the same visions, the same instructions, so to speak. It's a lot going on. They're doing it anyway because, like the old saying go, curiosity kills the cat. Yeah. Or are they being led to take these drugs so that they can communicate? I mean, because even without the drug, right? Before they even take the drug, they're being led to take the drug. So something in their spirit is leading them this way, knowing what they're going to see and what they're going to experience. But that's another thing that this guy says. He says that these people take these drugs in order to communicate with these beings. So, I mean, if I was curious, that curious, I want to hear what the heck they're getting told. I want to know what these beings are saying, what's convincing these people to say, like, yeah, let's go along with let's do that. He said, this is off topic, but the main reason why I've chosen this YouTube name because it's best to let people think what they want to believe. I mean, yeah, I can understand that sentiment because I wouldn't want someone trying to indoctrinate me into the wrong things and force me to believe certain things, I guess. But coming from where I come from, I mean, as far as mindset, I'm like, man, we can't just let people believe what they want to believe because look, this is what they do. And this is what they lead us to. But I understand everybody has free will. So it is what it is. But heck no. These people have an agenda to put us on the chopping block. I always play the Joker, but never been a fool. I mean, I hear it. I hear it for sure. I hear it for sure. But this is what it's coming to. This is what it's coming to. Let's see what I got. Let's see what I got. So, I have a new video coming out. I uncovered quite a bit, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this video. I tried to be politically correct as far as not saying the word cure and different things like that because I'm not trying to get locked up, but we've been bamboozled, y'all. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's just a greed thing, but they have tried to pull us so far away from the word of God that most people are sick because of it. And when I mean sick, I don't mean like even mentally sick. I mean physically sick because of it. So I'm like, if you were here early, I'm not going to be on here long because I really do want to finish this video because if I don't get it done tonight, early tomorrow morning, I'm not going to have it done for a couple days because I have a busy week. But crazy stuff. But I want to get off something. I don't want to get too far into the misery, I guess. Have y'all heard of a guy named B. Howard? So I was preparing for, again, this video, and I was watching the interview with Dr. Sebi's son. And thankfully, Dr. Sebi left some of his children that were actually versed in his methodology as far as how to heal ourselves and different things like that. But one thing he mentioned was that he had a hand in helping Michael Jackson's son. And the interviewers had to stop for a minute. They were like, wait a minute, like his real son? Because they're thinking about Blanket and I don't know the other kids' names, Pillow, or I don't know what his other kids' names are, but he was like, no, like his real son. And so they were trying to say, well, not them, but people were saying that we have been lied to. You know, Billie Jean is not my lover, but it actually was his lover. So I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me know if y'all have heard of this or seen this guy before. I know Freddie B. I don't know what his name is, but they did those children wrong with how they named him. So have y'all seen this guy before? He apparently is a platinum winning producer, songwriter. He even wrote one of my favorite songs, which is Bow Wow and Omarion, Can't Get Tired of Me. It's one of those songs that I can just play over and over. But this guy here, that's his mom on, I guess it would be All Right. Her name is Mickey Howard. And they're trying to say that this guy is Michael Jackson's real son. And hold on, let me show y'all Andrew Carter. Let me play in. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Wrong video. Sorry, y'all. Wrong video, y'all. That's a different one we're going to talk about here in a second because, oh man, it didn't bring it over. Oh, yes, it did. Yeah, I don't know him either.
I mean, he got a surrogate, but I don't think those children are biologically his. I don't think that was his sperm that was used in that surrogate. Those children do not look like him in the least.
No
in the
offense.
least
I
bit.
know Paris and all that, but I kind of agree. You know,
I mean, it just is what it is.
my buddy B. Howard looks more like his son than anyone else.
Well, if you just look at all of his siblings,
Do you know
and
who B.
all
Howard
the
is?
children. No, I don't.
B. Howard, look
B.
him up.
Howard?
Yeah, look up B. Howard, Michael Jackson, and tell me that's not Michael's real son.
Oh yeah, that was like Michael Jackson.
Okay,
Right.
he's a singer too.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Michael
Listen
Jackson.
to him sing
Mm.
a Michael Jackson song.
So you're saying that's his real son?
That's my friend. That's his real son,
Okay.
and the world doesn't even really know it.
So they're trying to say that this guy has been a secret, or they had to keep him a secret, I guess, because obviously with Michael Jackson's fame. But he does sound like him. I saw a short clip of an interview that he did recently, and he does sound like him. I guess the high pitched Michael Jackson part, even though we know that Michael has a deep voice. But yeah, I don't know that guy either. I don't know him either. I'm just not finding out him yesterday. He said, damn, so Michael Jackson, aka Peter Pan, was getting down with females at his Neverland Ranch. No wonder it was known as a magical place. I mean, somewhere. I mean, I've seen plenty of clips where Michael Jackson is looking at like Tiggo biddies and it just, ogling women and stuff like that. So, and I don't know if you guys know the singer Stephanie Mills. They dated for a while. So I don't know how often It's just amazing that this is what I don't know. I just don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. But I think I missed it. You said it's sad how the corporations tried to destroy his reputation. For sure. You talking about Dr. Sebi? He said overall Michael Jackson was still a man at the end of the day. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, if you're talking about Dr. Sebi destroying his reputation, I'm not sure if that's who you're speaking of, but yeah, absolutely. Because again, I watched that whole interview, and I think what we forget is that they put Dr. Sebi on trial a few times. One of the times is because he claimed to have cured AIDS, and they brought him to trial, and they ended up dropping the charges on him. So what does that tell you? So yeah, I was referring to Dr. Sebi and the corporation destroying him. Absolutely they did. And I know exactly why they destroyed him. I'm going to say destroyed him. And that's because if people really knew that their body could heal itself, the corporations wouldn't make any money. So I remember seeing that Sebi trial in real time. Really, I would love to, if they have it still on the internet, I would love to watch it, because man, just pulling together the things that I was able to find. Again, I can see why they did what they did to him. And his son said something really profound. They were like, well, why do you think that most people, when Sebi was alive, they weren't listening to him? And it's pretty much the mouth that it was coming out of. He was like, if the white man would have said, such and such and such, then people would have been all for it. But it was coming out of this man's mouth. So, but anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about it. We'll talk about it next week after I drop this video, so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. But I hope that I did it justice, because it was a lot. It was a lot. But speaking of Michael Jackson, right? Have y'all heard about this Sora 2 AI that has dropped? Let me show y'all one of these videos.
Yeah, light on my fit, wrist looking like moonlight, slide in the booth and I cook like a midnight. Talk to him, man. Kiss cloudy, be chasing my shadow. Pop off clean, still bad to the bone marrow. Woo! Drop that Addy right now. I swear I ain't playing, I'ma pull up on you, gang.
Man, you done? Look at the time, though. Pretty, huh?
Keep playing with me.
Dust on the dashboard, sun on the hood. We rolled through the hard times, the best that we could.
The stars, they keep
What's your step right here? Biggie! Let's go, champ!
That's right.
Gentlemen, protect yourselves at all times. Follow my commands at all times. Touch him up if you want. Let's get it. That's it. Let's go.
Biggie Paul with the jab.
Slips under, low kick lands to the thigh. Watch the fingers.
Keep it clean.
Heavy
Biggie
thump
felt
there.
that.
And look at Pac. Both men circling, feeling each other out here in round two.
Spinning elbow by
It lands clean on the jaw. Shakur wobbled.
Keep it clean, gentlemen. Back up. Back
The
up.
crowd is on its.
Hands up, Pop. Hands up. Body. Work the body. Push that knee. Back off. Back off. Fight smart.
Yo, AI is definitely out of control. I watched this video, and mind you, it's not just Tupac and Biggie. I mean, they have it from Elvis Presley to Kobe Bryant and all kinds of. I said this is one of the most ratchet things I've seen in my life, and I've seen some ratchet things in my life. I cannot believe this is where we are. You there's no way to know. And you know what's crazy is that the old AI videos, there was always some type of discrepancy in them, like the people would have 7 fingers or something silly like that to where you could know that it was AI. But I was looking all in this video. I mean, besides some features sometimes are a little bit off. Oh, they even had Mr. Rogers on here with Tupac. But there's no way to know on a lot of these videos. And unless you know which companies are pumping out these AI videos, you wouldn't know a thing. I've seen some videos of Sora AI. It's getting out of hand. It's only people can connect the dots. 9/11 coffee. Ooh, I know it. I know. Because remember when, man, I remember seeing some people, some witnesses saying that they didn't see a plane. But then there were some testimonies that said they saw the plane. And then obviously we have already talked about just the damage that was done in some of these crashes where no, you didn't see the blades of the plane, the indention that it would have created, especially not in the Pentagon. In the Pentagon videos, there was just a big round circle, but nowhere for the arms of the planes to have gone through. But then I also remember people asking back in the day, yeah, Bruce Lee. I know, right? Um, I remember hearing people ask back in the day, well, what happened to all the people? Because remember, people were making phone calls out to their loved ones and different things like that. Where did the people go? But then I also think back to, I don't even know if I should say this because, man, Alex Jones got in big trouble. But remember how they had clips of the actors off screen? They were laughing and kicking with each other. And then when it was time to come to the podium to talk about their quote unquote children that had passed away, they were able to just shed tears right away. Have any of y'all seen those videos? Like laughing and talking like nothing's even happening. And then as soon as they get to the microphone, the waterworks start coming. And then years later, again, this is allegedly, allegedly, years later, they had pictures of some of the kids that were supposed to have died, but yet they were still alive. Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. What about the Apollo missions? Or I don't remember if it was Apollo or Challenger, but they had the so-called astronauts that had blown up on the way to the orbit. But then people have pictures of them today with the same names, the same face. The same voice. So I think they've been running game on us for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. I've seen some testimonials on YouTube about people not seeing a plane, but heard a lot of explosions. I tried to download the video from YouTube, but it wouldn't let me. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, I went back to look because I was trying to put together a video for Patreon. And I could not, like, there were certain testimonies that I found, but not the ones that I needed. Not the ones that I needed. Matter of fact, the ones that I was looking for, people had actually said that those people had died right after they gave those testimonies, like just mysterious deaths, or the ones that said that they didn't see a plane. And then I was looking for the one where it shows the detonations going off, like pop, 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 as it goes, Couldn't find that one. Yeah, there was just a lot of ones I remember seeing back in the day that I couldn't find. And I DuckDuckGo. I don't even, if I need to find something that I know that they're not going to really want to show me, I definitely am on DuckDuckGo. And I couldn't even find it on there. So they're doing a good job of scrubbing the internet and they're doing a really good job of it. But again, if we see these technologies today, you best believe they had these 20 to 50 years ago. And so, first of all, I think it's going to be really, really easy for them to fake signs and wonders in order to deceive a lot of people. And I think it's going to come to the point where even like we're not going to be able to, what am I trying to say? Like if you get accused of something, you're not going to be able to debunk it because they're going to be able to pull out an AI video of you that's going to have your same face and your same voice and your same mannerisms and your same clothes, and your people are not going to be able to know the difference, and you're not going to be able to defend yourself. It's I don't know how they have created this program. I really don't know, because that for sure looks like Tupac. And it looks like Michael Jackson, and it looked like Bruce Lee, and it looked like Mr. Rogers. And some videos it didn't sound like them, right? But some videos it did. And I was even listening to I think it was Sirius FM that was on, and they so-called had Jay-Z talking about why he booked Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl. And don't get me wrong, I don't follow Jay-Z like that, but I knew when I heard the talking, it wasn't his voice. And I'm somebody I can pick up on tones really, really well. Like I can pick out, my husband thinks it's so weird. He can be like, who's singing? I can tell him exactly who it is, because people have different tones. They sing in different ways, and I can pick up on that kind of stuff. That wasn't his voice. Yeah, these AI songs are getting out of hand too. No disrespect, but some of these songs. That's hilarious. I haven't. Yeah, I've seen different clips. I've seen different clips of them, and yeah, a lot of the artists are getting upset because their music is not getting put out, but you have these producers and stuff that are so-called signing these AI artists. I know they were getting all up on Timbaland because he had signed an AI artist and was making AI music, and they were like, "How could you? How could you betray the industry like this after you've done so much to build it up?" But he's just trying to go where the money is at, where the money resides. So they said OnlyFans, they said count your days. they said they said in a little bit you're not going to be needed either, because they can just put somebody else, put an AI up there. And I think they have a lot of channels like that as well, where it looks like, a real person, but it's not. So yeah, we're doing ourselves a real disservice, but it's definitely getting scary out there. I don't know what to say. But that also goes to show that some of these people who we thought were supposed to be dead and gone, especially the ones that were supposed to be at Gitmo and all that kind of stuff, maybe they aren't here anymore. 'Cause they got really good with those skin masks. Like I just saw a clip of them saying that Biden was going through radiation or something like that. That ain't the same Biden that was here years ago before he became president. Those are two totally different people. The ears are different. I mean, just overall face is different. But man, you said those songs are good too. You said you may be right about those Gitmo prisoners. They aren't here anymore. I don't think a lot of these celebrities who we think are here, I don't think so. And what's crazy is that it probably has been more than 20 years or so, because I was just in college around that time. So it had to have been before that. But there were a lot of hoaxes that would come out about certain celebrities dying. And, again, they would write it off as a hoax. I remember Eminem was one of the people. And you look at Eminem, there's been at least 3 different Eminems. He definitely looks nothing like when he first came out. I remember Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears being one of the so-called hoaxes. They had supposedly died in a car accident. And they've already admitted that Britney has been cloned. I don't know how many times. Beyonce was one of the people that claimed to have died in the 2000s. And I showed y'all on the post the other day, that looks nothing like what she used to look like. I don't care how much plastic surgery. There's no way. Well, I still have that picture. I might have deleted it. I think I was trying to clear some space, but hold on, let me see if there's no way. Yeah, Biden been gone. I agree. He been gone. What do you think about Charleston Whites? Oh man, I feel like that's a very broad question. It might depend on the topic, so I really don't know how to answer this, but he's very ratchet, but he does speak a lot of truth. I wouldn't say a lot. He speaks some truth sometimes. Especially when he talks about the state of things. I cannot say that I disagree with him all the time. But yeah, it would really depend on what the topic is. Because he does go off the wall sometimes. So yeah, I need specifics on that. Exactly. I remember the episode of 106 in Park, and Eminem said verbatim that he doesn't know when he came on the show years prior. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. But I thought they were supposed to retain their memory, but I guess not. But again, we obviously know that they can do different things where they can wipe out people's memory too. So people still think that Ariana Grande was joking when she was talking about the what was it, the Happy Days something clinic that she went to get her memory erased. They think she's joking about that. I'm like, have y'all looked it up? I looked it up. That's a real place. So you might think she's just talking about the movie Spotless Mind, but no. And that was one of the things that Donny Hathaway, if y'all know the singer Donny Hathaway, that was one of the things that he was adamant about before he passed away. They claimed that he committed suicide by jumping off a 15-story hotel building. But before he died, he was claiming that they were trying to hook him up to machines and take his mind. Take his ideas. But I'm also thinking, well, hell, I'm not going to say that he was pushed or anything like that. I mean, he could have very well been trying to get away from whomever was chasing him. Did y'all see the story about, I want to say he's a football player. Forgive me because I don't know his name right this second. I might be able to pull him up on my laptop, but they said that man recorded his suicide like a couple days ago. He filmed himself walking into an oncoming train. Like what? I honestly think that something's going on. Something's going on. Something's going on. Hold on, let me see if I can pull him up. I don't know what that man's name is. He said, I also remember those rumors about Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake dying in a car crash. Yeah. And so again, we would never know if that was real because they look like they're walking amongst us. And if you look at pictures of old Britney Spears and new Britney Spears, they don't look the same. His name is Joshua Allen. Oh, I'm sorry. I said he was a football player. Who the heck? He was on. So You Think You Can Dance. Star reportedly walked directly into the train. Come on now, these ads. Into the train that ultimately took his life in Fort Worth, Texas, September 30th at the age of 36. What would make you do that? Sorry, that was a whole different tangent, but I guess I'm just thinking about, I just feel like there's a spirit that's invading these people. And they're taking their lives and they're taking other people's lives. They were trying to sound the horn to get his attention. However, Joshua ignored the horn and continued to walk towards the train until he was struck. That's just crazy. You said now my childhood crush Mandy Moore is not looking the same. Oh, really? I gotta look her up. Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore. I mean, I hate to say it, and I don't mean no shade, but I don't know why they would want to clone her. I don't know why they would want to clone her. I mean, she's been doing her thing. She's been active for a long time. Oh yeah, she looks nothing like whoa. Oh, they even made an article about it. She got a new face. She looks like she's how- that can't be Mandy Moore. Nah, that can't be Mandy Moore. It's just like the invasion of the body snatchers. This is what it feels like. Like they are just replacing these people. That's crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. I wish I could. I'm on my phone and they won't let me screen share on the phone. That's not Mandy Moore at all. That's crazy. Let me get off of here. You said I told you my baby Michi is gone. That is hilarious. Yeah. Wow. I don't even know what to say. He said, I feel like they're replacing regular people too. Really? That's scary. Like, do you know someone personally or just you just kind of seen what okay, what makes you think that? Well, I'll start there. That's crazy. It kind of makes me wonder because you know how back in the day, and I don't know if there's really too many instances these days, but people were talking about how they were getting abducted and they would be beamed up into these UFOs and poked and prodded on and different things like that. Again, I don't hear too many of those stories, but they have so many different movies where a person leaves for X amount of time and they come back and they don't think that they're the same person. They have so many movies, and you know how they like to put stuff in plain sight. Like people don't act the same, everyone looks plastic. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Because they're really pushing these synthetic people. Have y'all seen the movie Surrogates? I want to say that's what the movie is, Surrogates, where the people would be at home and they would be in this little machine, but their so-called like clone or body double would be the one out and about because they didn't want to mess around and get hurt. And so they would send their body doubles out and then they can control them from the little contraption in their house. I mean, there's so many movies I can think of. Remember The Faculty? I just watched that again the other day. I think I probably even talked about it on one of the last lives, but how they were, you know, even having the kids come into the office claiming that they were going to check their ears and they were really putting little aliens in their ears and they were changing. Man, there's so many crazy stuff. He said yes, the abduction is basically a cover up for kidnapping. Wow. Yeah, it's so hard to again, it's just really hard to know what's really going on out there unless you put yourself in danger to like try to go undercover, but I ain't no, no, no. Because these people don't play fair. You can't go undercover in these sex rings and all this other stuff. You said alien is another name for demons. Yeah. It's got to be something. Because one, they're able to masquerade as, different things. They're able to transform themselves. But I've also seen where when these people get so far into witchcraft, I don't know how it happens, y'all. 'Cause you're not practicing witchcraft, but some kind of way they get so far into witchcraft that they're able to shapeshift. And so this is something that they learn how to do. It's just way too much. I remember those movies. Yeah, there's just way too many of them, and there's a lot of them that are still coming out. This is not old school stuff. There's one. Yeah, there's just so many. I don't even need to start naming them. But you said, yeah, I'm not going undercover myself either. No, not at all. They'll have us strung up, drugged out, pimped out. Man, no, no, no. I'm surprised that they didn't clone Raven Simone. I guess the elite said that the damage has been done. You know what's crazy is that, yeah, I think the damage has been done. And I think, which a lot of people are kind of on the same wave, that her so-called wife, because I don't like saying that because you can't be a woman with a wife, but her so-called wife is her handler. So I think the damage is being done with her being with this lady. And this lady is going to be her downfall. I don't know if you guys have seen her little podcast that she has. It's the one number one is super weird. But yeah, Raven is already kind of down because she's in the Rainbow Club. So, and she's like, I'm not black. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can just tell that she's far to the left. And so, yeah, I think what you said earlier, I think the damage has already been done. Agreed. Her wife was her handler. Raven was a cute girl years ago. Yeah. And now she's got that dyke look. Just kind of old and decrepit, and she got the tennis ball haircut, and she colors it different colors, and but I also don't think that. Yeah. I think they want to use her for something different. Raven is under heavy MK Ultra. Yeah, they're using her for something totally different, because even with Britney's clones from the testimony, what I've heard is that they use her more like a sex slave. She's more MK Ultra, the beta version. You know, Raven, they don't want her for that. They don't want Raven for her body. Mm-mm. No, I don't really know what her piece of the agenda is, because honestly, people haven't been, I guess her community hasn't been checking for her for a long time. One, since she denounced her blackness and got with this lady. But I don't know, they just see her as weird from the comments that I've seen. So I don't really know what her part of the agenda would be, because nobody's following her. Nobody's following Raven. So yeah, I don't know. But people like a Beyonce, definitely got to get her under some type of a spell, because she said that she's nothing like Sasha Fierce. So in order to get the Beyonce that we have now, where she got her breast all out, I've seen her rump quite a few times. Um, just the lyrics that she has and the idol worship that she's showing. They had to get her under some type of control. And I don't know, I don't know how much she loved God before that. She claimed she did, but what I'm saying is that you don't get that vast of a transformation without doing that to them. I remember years ago when Raven wore her black dress and she was beautiful. I said to him in my Chris Tucker voice, I mean, she was a very pretty girl. She was a very pretty girl. But that lifestyle will muggly you up in a heartbeat. So and then, maybe some of them even choose this type of lifestyle so that they can be left alone. I think with Orlando Brown, I think one of the things that he does, I think he has been messed up by the industry, but I also think he makes sure that he plays it up so that they leave him alone. So yeah, I don't know. I think that Will Smith, he's one of the main ones that would talk about, cloning and him being one and all that kind of stuff. But I think he messed up. I don't know if it was him or, one of his other um personas, but when he pimp slapped Chris Rock, his stock went down. And when his wife went on to the Red Table Talk and started talking down, his stock went down. So I don't think that they're going to be able to revamp Will Smith anymore. No matter how many clones that they make of him, they're not gonna, they're not going to put him back on the map. Like, the viewers are not going to put him back on the map, no matter what he does. And he's trying. He's trying to get back there, making a new album and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to work. So I don't even think the elites are going to, even bother with him. You said poor Orlando Brown. Yeah, poor him for real. And it's hard to say even what happened to him. I know that people said that he was even, I guess, giving us an insight when he was on the Jamie Foxx show. Do y'all remember the episode when he was getting bullied and he ended up coming to the hotel and he showed Jamie Foxx that he had that gun? Well, he had two black eyes in that episode. And so people were trying to say that it was alluding to panda eyes. I don't know. I don't know if it was just, for the episode. I don't know if y'all know what panda eyes are, but when they get to abusing these children, really, and I'm not going to get too graphic because it's disgusting, but when they do it too hard, it ends up busting the vessels around the eyes. And so it's called panda eyes. And so anyways, they were saying that was what the episode was showing. Yeah. Black Eye Club, panda eyes. Yeah. So I don't know. Because you don't just get like, I don't know. I guess I've never seen somebody get into a fight and they have two black eyes, but I guess it can happen. So I'm not going to put it past them. Orlando Brown was really talented, like Gary Coleman at a young age. Yeah, he was. I mean, Orlando Brown is talented now. He can sing, he raps, he can act, he's funny. He's got a lot going for him. But unfortunately, when these children go into the industry and they don't have people in their corner, like their parents are not, there and all that kind of stuff. Because even Keenan, right, from Keenan and Kel, I think his parents were, there on the set and stuff. So he wasn't played with. But you got people like, you know what? I'm not even thinking about Gary Coleman. You mentioned Gary Coleman, but I'm thinking about what's the other guy from, I want to say he's from Silver Spoons, Bridges. I want to say his name is, what's his name? It wasn't my show, so I don't remember his name. But anyways, he ended up being abused by his manager or something like that at a young age. And so, yeah, these people are not being protected because they're just going in there. And then they allow the directors and stuff to say, no, parents, you can't be on the set. We just want to have this one-on-one with, your young child. And instead of saying no, I'm familiar with the panda eye situation, and it's very disturbing indeed to do that to little children is horrible. Yeah. I mean, to do it to anybody, but the fact that these grown people are into children like that is disgusting. Very, very disgusting. Yeah. Todd, yes, thank you. Y'all are so awesome. Todd Bridges, thank you. Yeah. He had been violated. And I believe it messed him up for a long time. I think he kind of knows who he is now. I think it kind of had him questioning for a lot of years. And that's the sad thing about that. People don't understand the spiritual implications that they're putting on people. And they think it's just another lifestyle and it doesn't mean anything. And, it's fluid and all that kind of, but no, it has spiritual consequences. There's a video that's been circulating here recently, probably this past month. This past week. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this guy, he's telling the story about how he was in the club with his friends and he ended up meeting a guy. And mind you, this guy himself he's got a wig on, he's got his makeup all done up, he's got his nails done, just trying to look as much like a female as he can. And so anyways, he's in the club with this guy, they're flirting, they're kissing, they're, fooling around. The guy has called him for a week and then they finally decide to go out. So they get in the car, they're about to head to the place, and the guy was like, you know what, I need to ask you a question, please don't get offended. And he said, "Are you a man?" And so the guy who was all done up with the wig and the, the nails and stuff said, "Yes, I am. I'm just a very feminine man." And so the guy was like, "Okay, um, pretty much I'm gonna pull over so we can talk about this." But long story short, he asked the man in the wig, could he take him home? Like, "I don't do this. This is not my thing, but let me take you home." And so he did that. And the gay guy was talking about how the guy was, he was fragile, in his masculinity. And like, no, fool. He didn't want to be with a man. And the fact that, first of all, you lucky that he just asked to take you home. Because some people would have just taken you up out of here. But people are like, "Oh, he's just going to forget about this. He's going to just, forget." I doubt this man is going to forget that he was slobbing this man down in the club. I really do. It's probably going to be on his mind for a very, very long time if he ever forgets it. And you really just don't know what that does to people. You really just don't know. You guys think it, not you, not y'all. But I've seen people who go on the internet and they brag about tricking men into doing stuff with them. And I just feel so bad for the victims because you just don't know what that does to people. Yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent. Red Bottoms Club. Oh yeah, for sure. If you know, you know, yeah. Um, and what's crazy, and you guys have probably the story, but some of you all might be new. Macaulay Culkin actually had a conversation with the director about the so-called Red Shoe Club. And he claimed that the director admitted to him what happened to the little girl from Poltergeist. Remember the little girl from Poltergeist? She was like in, 2 or 3 of the movies, and then she passed away at a very, very early age. And they claimed that she had some type of pneumonia or something, like that. But the director let him know that the shoes that he was wearing that were red were her skin. And so that's what the Red Shoe Club is all about. It's all about them, sacrificing people and the blood splashing on their shoes, turning it red. It's just a really disgusting, disgusting club. But this is what they do. They're really into energy harvesting, especially when it comes to abusing children. Yeah, for sure. And that's why you really gotta watch. You really just gotta watch everybody, but you really gotta pay attention to where your kids are these days. Because again, back in the day, I'm pretty sure that there were instances like this, but I mean, I've only rode the bus 1 year in my whole school career. I've always walked to school. And most of the times it would be a gang of us walking to school, in certain states that I've lived in. But, we all made it home and we really didn't worry about getting snatched up like this. Nowadays, your kids get snatched up walking to the store or walking to their friend's house or, going to the ice cream man, just crazy stuff. Um, and again, we're getting close up on Halloween. I've already let y'all know what the deal is on that. So yeah, be careful out there. I hate when Transformers act like masculine men have fragile egos. I know they're the ones that are fragile. But yeah, they try to act like if you're not down with it, then you are the one with the issues. It's just the craziest thing. And then y'all got to see the video. Then this man had the nerve to say that there was no dishonesty on his part, but the man himself was being dishonest, because if he had an inkling, if he had a question about, you know, if he was a man or not, he should have asked. Well, he did ask. He did end up asking you. But he was trying to be respectful. The guy told him, like, I wasn't trying to disrespect you just in case you weren't a man. So I had been, mulling on this for a couple days. Yep, sick. Yeah. I think they need to be locked up, to be honest. Wait, it was her skin. That's very sickening. Yep, it was her skin. Yeah. And again, they try to tell her mom that she died of something. I made a little short about it. It's one of the Hollywood satanic stories. And even Harry Winkler from the Happy Days kind of alluded to something, but he makes it seem like he don't know what the heck happened to this little girl. But from what I heard, that they were taking turns with her in the back, on the set, to the point where they busted her all up on the inside. Sorry to be graphic, but and that's how she died. They ruptured her insides because she was a little girl. He said, "You say alien, I say Nephilim, genetic gene mixing, disgusting hybrid children." Yeah. And there's a clip right now. I need to watch it, but to be honest, the guy's accent was so thick. He's an Asian man, so I'm gonna really have to take my time with it. But he was talking about a new race of people coming as well, and he was pretty much talking about that, about the genetic mixing. But yeah, they're showing up everywhere, shape shifting everywhere. You can see their eyes changing sometimes. Some of them even look like robots. And so we don't know. Again, the scripture, what Daniel is talking about, how clay is going to be mixed with iron. Now, we're the clay. We're the ones made out of dust. And so I'm assuming iron, if it doesn't insinuate machinery, well, okay, let me put that into a statement. I think it insinuates machinery. He said it's getting scary out here. Yeah, it is. Because you don't know who's who. If it's not somebody that you grew up with, you've known. But again, we already talked about people might be getting snatched up and then changed, So you just never know. I think we just hear more about it because technology occultists have had interest in children for rituals and taking of innocence since millennia. Yeah, for sure. But nowadays it's getting so easy for these children to become a victim because a lot of their parents are the ones prostituting them. A lot of their parents are the ones that are putting them out there to be violated and, things like that. Whether it's for money, sometimes they do it for money. And then sometimes these parents are the ones that are in the occult because satanic ritual abuse is passed down from generation to generation. It'd be like the mama's into it, grandma be into it, uncles, cousins. And then here you are just born into it, the family, and then boom, now they got you, whether you want to be in it or not. And that's how a lot of these kids get got, unfortunately. And the thing is, like, you really don't know what's going on in people's houses. Like I've seen so many different stories. People be locked up, boarded up in houses. They be in the closet locked up. You would never know. Little Johnny wasn't at school today. He hasn't been here for a couple weeks. Yeah, because little Johnny's in the closet. They got that man in the basement. It makes you shed a tear on how they do things. Yeah, it really does. It really does. I live minutes from one of the largest military bases in the nation. There was a lot of town lore about dumbs, and there was a string of bodies that turned up there for decades. See, that's crazy. Yeah. Mm-mm. And and again, people just walk around just unaware. They got their headphones on, to be reading a book, walking down the street, just all kinds of stuff. And you know what I get upset when I walk into like a gas station or something. You know how sometimes like the little bell will ding or just anything, and the cashier doesn't come out from wherever they are. They don't look up. They could be putting away, the cigarettes or whatever. They won't even turn around to see who comes in their door. I'm like, why would you not even look up when somebody comes into your store? You don't know who I am. Just no situational awareness at all. It's the parents' fault because they're ties with the elite. Yeah. Yeah. Again, a lot of these parents are the main culprits. Yeah. It's crazy. This is why scriptures say that family is of the spirit, not the flesh. In the flesh, you could be born into Satanism and don't even know it. This world we live in is ran by Satan himself. So yeah. Somebody tried to call me out earlier today, and they said, "You probably say that you're pro-black, huh?" And I didn't even respond to that comment because it was really about the conversation was about slavery, and he accused me of having white supremacist ideology, and I was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of." But no, you will never hear me say, "Oh, I'm pro-black." No, because what they say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. If you're a Satanist, like we're talking about, if you're a Satanist, no, we're not kin. I don't care what skin color you are. And there's some people of different races that I like more than I like black folks. So no, you're right. uh, yeah, exactly. They say, "Who is my brother? Who is my sister?" Only those who follow after Christ are my brother and my sister. Yeah, that's right. You could be born into Satanism and not even know it. Yep. And they indoctrinate these kids into witchcraft too. And they force them to perform rituals and all kinds of stuff. This is why you have to have on the full armor of righteousness. We are in these times where ignorance will kill you before you start to live. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Um, I guess it's really incumbent to introduce your children to the Lord at a very early age, even if it's not, because you can't force somebody to believe something, but you can absolutely introduce it. And I've heard a lot of people, especially, I don't know if you guys know the mathematician, John Lennox, very, very smart guy. And he would talk about often how his household was an open household. He was allowed to read whatever he wanted to. And his parents never forced him, to the right hand or to the left hand, but he did eventually end up finding Christ on his own. And so I can get that aspect as well. Even though, like I told you guys last week, I'm very, very glad that my mom, even though she didn't tell me all about the Lord, I had a little book that I would read all the time. And I was so in love with how the Lord treated Daniel and stuff. So, and I just always looked out into the world and thought, oh, yeah, we couldn't have made this. It just always made sense to me. But yeah, it's very, very important just to plant that seed early on, because this world will eat you up. They nicknamed it the place where soldiers go to die. What? Oh, that's disgusting. And what's crazy is and I'm not, no shade, right? Because I'm a military brat myself, and you still sign up for that? You still sign up knowing that you're going to be over there at that base. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. That's why I've given up on social media. Too many distractions, too much sin, too much propaganda, too much focus on technology instead of the physical and especially the spiritual. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've really been off of it myself. I try to get different topics obviously together for us to talk about and to make videos about, but yeah, I've just really been focusing on building my businesses and trying to get to a point where I could just take care of my family and stuff. Yeah. Because we already know what's coming. I'll do my best to try to put stuff together to warn people, but yeah, it's a lot going on. And it also makes me upset because a lot of people they're just willfully ignorant and they want to remain that way. And they have it just the moral compasses are just not there. It's just like it's just no care in the world about doing right. They're always looking at doing wrong. Skin color politics are just an illusion to keep division. Real kin is of the spirit. Because listen, I tell you all the time, I was door to door. I had times where black people wouldn't shake my hand. I was looking like my head, like, wait, are we seeing the same? Are we seeing the same thing? No, they wouldn't. So, it's not about that at all. It's not that about that at all. Mm-mm. The amount of people that have come out and spoken on satanic ritual abuse is crazy. Yeah, the amount of people and what they say. It's amazing the things that they testify to, like stuff that you can't even imagine. You wouldn't want to even fathom people even going through, and their uncles be abusing them, their dads be abusing them, their moms be abusing them, the grandmas be in on it. Just nastiness, just pure nastiness. He said, and speaking of social media, I deleted Facebook page back in 2012 and never looked back. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook. I really like I just if it's not about business, I really don't get on there. But I think once Mark Zuckerberg had came out, what do I call him? Zuckerberg. I don't know if I said his name right. Zuckerberg came out and his background was in the CIA and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh heck no. Oh no. But I really just don't know if we can get away with too much because it feels like they're all connected. All these social medias are pretty much connected. Matthew 12 and 50 and Romans 9:7 explains why color politics doesn't make sense. anyone focusing on that are severely caught in the matrix. Yeah. That, and again, once you understand that Noah's sons created the three races, I mean, there's really no reason to be fighting against people, especially not against about skin color. It's all about principalities, dominions. That's what we're fighting against. That's what we're fighting against. It's God's people versus Satan's people. And unfortunately, there's people caught in the middle. Somebody asked me, well, what about the people that haven't heard of Jesus? Do they just get a pass? Everybody is going to hear the gospel will be preached to the four corners of the earth before Christ comes back. So there's not going to be any excuse. There's not going to be any excuse. I've only had Twitter and TikTok for information and entertainment, but even that is a distraction within itself. I'm just done with it in general. Yeah. And I mean, look where, shoot, I guess we can even see where TikTok and Twitter are going. Netanyahu said that Elon Musk is their friend. And TikTok is getting bought out. And it's going to be controlled by the Oracle. And Israel is going to have a say-so. And so if you say anything disparaging against the agenda, guess what? Most are blind to the real spiritual war being waged daily. Yeah. And that's what's so crazy is because people say, oh, well, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Yeah, but what spirit are you? What spirit do you hear? What spirit are you following? And yet they don't, and it's crazy because they say that they're spiritual, but they don't see the war. But I mean, we can, like, the Lord will show you if you need to see it. Like, have any of you seen like a vision of the apocalypse? Has that ever been shown to you? I know that sounds like a weird question, but a lot of us get visions and stuff. Have you ever seen a vision of the apocalypse? I have seen a vision, and I was deathly afraid. I was so glad that it was just a vision and that it wasn't going on at that present time. And it wasn't like it was much, like I didn't see much, but just I could feel the terror. Yeah, I'm just trying to get right. My focus is just on scriptures, health, and edification. Yeah. I mean, that's really what the focus, needs to be on. Which is possible. Because yeah, we talk about this stuff, and this is just so that we have knowledge about what's going on, but um the edification part definitely is very, very important. because depression, a lot of people are depressed. And it causes a lot of ailments. A lot of people are depressed because they don't know the scriptures. They don't know the plans that God has for them. They don't know that they can ask for wisdom. They don't know that their steps can be ordered. They don't know to have patience and to wait on the Lord. They don't know that He wants to keep us from calamity. Because what's so crazy is that the comment that I was just speaking about and where I was called I had white supremacist ideology, basically, was somebody was saying something along the lines of, God didn't do anything about slavery, so why would He do anything about something? I don't remember the whole phrase, and my question was simply, weren't they enslaved because of idolatry? Like, the slavery was brought about because of things that they did, not because God wanted them enslaved. And matter of fact, we just read in our reading through the Bible series how the people even asked for a king. They wanted to be like the other nations, and they asked for a king. And so God was like, okay, give the people what they want, but let them know what the king is going to do to them. And Samuel reads off to the children of Israel all the things that a king is going to do. He's going to oppress your people. He's going to take your sons and daughters. He's going to make them, his maid servants. He's going to take your cattle and give it to his servants. He's going to make you, just all this stuff that, I hope I didn't press a button wrong, that we would not want to deal with, right? No, it's not something that you want to deal with. Yet they said, oh, we'll have one anyway. So it's just amazing what people, again, like I said, people are willfully ignorant. They believe what they want to believe. This is off topic, but in speaking of buying out, Saudi Arabia is buying out some video game companies as well. I wonder why. I guess my only thought is that a lot of these video games, one, have occultic things in them, but they also have a lot of, I guess, like a lot of prophetic topics. So I'm interested in seeing what video games they're buying. So I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't claim myself as religious. I'm Messianic, following and believing in the way, the truth, the life of the Messiah as best as I can. I mean, yeah, I really don't know when they say religious, do they mean following rituals and stuff like that? So I really just don't understand the phrase itself. I'm religious, but I'm not. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I don't know what religious means in the sense that it's used. I had a dream in May 2022 that I will never forget. That's what woke me up forever, and I can never go back to being asleep. Interesting. At the end of the dream, the Most High told me to wake up, and I did, and never look back. Even when I slip and fall, I always return to the truth. Yeah. And that's the most important part. One of the comments that I saw today on Threads was this girl saying that she had left Christianity and pretty much she never looked back. And I saw one guy comment, "You were never with us in the first place." You know, if you could leave it, you were never with, and that's scripture. But once you know God, you're never turning back. Once you know the truth about him, you're never turning back. There's no reason to. He said most the doctrine I see today is wrong. Mm. I refuse to be a sheep in sin and willful ignorance. I won't be burning in our beginning. That vision woke me up all the way up. Yeah. Not a vision of the apocalypse, but I did dream of being in heaven and another dream of being in hell or limbo because I saw a giant undead baby's head. Whoa. Mm. I don't even know what to say about that. Get a Sefer Bible and just read it for yourself. There are a lot of false prophets out there leading people to sin and into the abyss of iniquity. Yeah, I agree. Israel is the greatest threat to the world. Peace. BB just bragged on live camera about buying influence to limit Americans' access to knowledge. Yeah, I saw that. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but he absolutely did. And the crazy thing is he specifically mentioned evangelistic influencers. And they can be bought out with money and this and that. I'm like, what? What? But it's coming. Men's hearts will fail them due to fear. Yeah. And that's a lot of what happens. A lot of people don't want to leave the paradigm that they know because, it's all that they know. They feel like once you take that foundation from under them, they have nowhere else to stand on. And a lot of times it's hard to believe once again because God can't be seen. But he told you he's invisible. He told you he was a spirit. So that shouldn't be a surprise. But he also told you that you can know him by the things that were made. Slavery happened because our ancestors made the golden calf in the wilderness and deliberately disrespected the Most High. They did more than just the golden calf. They did more than just the golden calf. Every chance that they got. We've been reading straight from Genesis. We are reading from Genesis to Revelation, and just over and over again, the children of Israel have been committing idolatry, and then they go back to God and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they commit idolatry again, and they go back to God. "I'm sorry." It's just a continuous cycle. It's the wildest thing. It's reality, right? We've all done it. If you deliberately disrespect, I can't even talk right now. If you deliberately disrespect your parents when you were a kid, you would get reprimanded and disciplined. Yeah. But not nowadays. Nowadays, they go upside their parents' head. Kill them off. Dare you take their tablet or their cell phone or whatever. What? You'll have a fight on your hands. It sure looks like the build-up to the system on the world stage for the first time in human history is possible, and all the pieces are at play. Yeah, I think so too. I think that, but a lot of people are going to be deceived because for the longest time, it's always been said, we're in the last days, we're in the last days, we're in the last days. And so a lot of people are not going to believe it when we say, you know what, we're in the last days now. So, but no, they really are. They're really moving towards it. And now that we see Israel being so prominent and pretty much showing their hands, I mean, oh no, if you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. That's what the Most High did to his chosen people for deliberately wanting to be wicked and stubborn and stiff-necked. Yeah. Yeah. Christians are sold the lie. They have a sin past if they say sorry to Jesus. So many are not going to make the cut. Um, I mean, yes and no, I guess. I mean, there's always repentance. The only repentance or the only thing that's not going to be forgiving is grieving the Holy Spirit. And that's like flat out denying that Jesus came in the flesh. But yeah, I don't think that, but no, I agree. I agree. Because it says, do not be deceived. And it names all the list of people that are not going to make it. Yeah, it just seems like we shouldn't be relying on grace, even though we have it. We shouldn't be using that as an occasion to sin. So yeah, I agree. Religion's root word definition comes from control. So yes, religion means basically to be in a cult. It doesn't mean control. I guess I have to look that up. I mean, I guess I just really know the scripture that says, no, there's religion is said different times in the Bible. It talks about what true religion is. And then I want to say that it's talked about in the New Testament. Um, I guess I always just understood it in the broad sense of your beliefs in how you feel about God. Because to me, everybody has a religion. Every single last one of us. Even atheists who claim that they don't believe in God, I think they have a religion too. Because whatever they believe in dictates how they live their life. He said, wait, I'm tired of hearing the white supremacy cope. We live in the most privileged nation in the world, and blacks today alone have privileges, others don't. They can be blatantly racist and claim it's not. Yeah, they definitely claim that black people can't be racist. Now, are there white supremacists? Absolutely. But I don't think there's as many as some of these people make it out to be. I had the pleasure of meeting so many people. I mean, obviously being a military brat, but just working in direct sales, I get to meet so many different people, and I got to be in their homes and in their face and see how I there's not as many white supremacists as people think. And I think people have made a really good point that there were white people that were oppressed too. It really isn't about a black and white thing. It really isn't about color. It's about those who are at the top, who we call the elites, who claim that they have, I guess, power passed down to them from the gods. And they have used that so-called privilege to suppress everybody has been oppressed. Every last one of us have been oppressed by these same people. It's not a black and white thing. And once people understand that, then yeah, we'd be able to come together a lot better and defeat the system. But since they want to play into these people's agenda, it would never happen. So that's why you're not supposed to be religious. Racist because of 60 years of history. Yeah. Saudi is westernizing. They have bars and clubs now and have copped to alcohol. Really? Oh wow. I'm actually not surprised. I mean, no offense, but look at who they follow. Look at who their so-called prophet is. I mean, he was receiving doctrine from the devil, from Satan himself. And his people don't even bat an eye about that. So of course they're going to be into this stuff. Christianity is a watered down version of following Christ today. You pick and choose the parts you want and disregard clear commands, looking to justify your own ways that don't line up with scripture. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I don't like to say that is because, I mean, the disciples were called Christians first at Antioch, right? So that was the name that they were given because they were following Christ. Now, I always make this analogy. We don't, like, if somebody is singing off key, we don't blame the writer of the music. We blame the person that is not singing the song on key. And the same thing with doctrine. Like, Christian doctrine says what it says. Now, if people decide that they want to pick it apart and pick and choose, and they're the ones that are in the wrong, not Christianity itself, and not even the scriptures. So, yeah, Christianity is what it is. I've met more non-practicing Christians than any other faith. They're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I've heard that said too. I would have to agree with that. Um, mm, I guess I can understand why that is as well. Because see, in the Old Testament, the judgment came right away. Right? When you violated the law, your judgment was right then and there, probably X you out on the spot. But now we are under the new covenant, and judgment is not really going to be at the brim until the cup of wrath is full. And then the Lord is going to pour it out. But right now, he's giving everyone an opportunity to repent. And so you don't see, no, I mean, you absolutely see judgment. But again, in comparison to what we saw in the Old Testament, he's being patient right now. And so some people count that as slackness. And the scripture says that as well. Like, some people are counting it as, number one, he ain't coming, or he's not coming yet. And so I can just do what I want to do. Whereas in other faiths, shoot, they'll cut your arm off. They'll have a mercy killing on you real quick. You know, that kind of stuff happens. But that's just my thought on that. Jesus himself spoke ill of religion. And because no religion is a pathway to the Messiah, nor the Most High told. I mean, yeah, we're just supposed to walk in the Spirit. Because the law is really what condemns us. If there was no law, then we wouldn't be guilty of it. But because because there is a law, everyone's guilty because of it. Eternity and is that semen? Sorry. Because I know that there's a root word in Hebrew, but it's pronounced shemen, and it means something totally different than what semen actually is. I'm just making sure. Jews hate Christians. A video just came out of them spitting on and kicking Christian women and talking about Jesus in Israel. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, yeah, see, that's why I can't be. I'm not there yet. Heck no. But yeah, absolutely two different religions. I mean, I really don't even know what to say about that. More than what I've already said. I mean, they don't even believe that. I didn't even think that they believe that Jesus was the Messiah. Because even in Judaism, they believe that the Messiah hasn't came yet. They're still waiting on him. I mean, like the first time around, like they're still waiting on him. But yeah, two different things. Straight and narrow is the pathway to him, broad and wide is the pathway to destruction. Yeah. Religion is the practices of men. There's been an active push to make families broken and weaker for decades. Yeah. But we're playing into it though. We are playing into it. Not we as in all of us, but you got a lot of people that are. And just like I read in The Way of Sacrifice, the research I did, there's how would I describe it? Well, they describe it as a whispering in the ears. And it mainly sounded like it was coming from the women, but the women are whispering in the ears of other women. And you can actually see it. You can go on YouTube and you can see them. They're like teaching each other how to leave their marriages, and some of them saying they don't even want their children anymore. They're teaching women how to just walk away. It's just crazy. A lot of women don't even want to be married anymore or don't even want to have kids. Men are just not even approaching women anymore. It's just a lot going on, y'all. My definition of racism hasn't changed with the times, like the definition today. Anyone can be ignorant and racist. Yeah, I mean, yeah. More so the traditions of man, Mark 7, 6 through 9, Matthew 15 through 9. There's actually substantially fewer of them today versus the past. Yeah, I think so too. But I think also they're doing things to rev it back up. Like, I think people got used to the whole melting pot situation that we're in, but now they are creating scenarios so that the races fight. And so now you're hearing things again like black fatigue, white fatigue, all that kind of stuff going on. So I think it's ramping back up again. But it's because they're creating environments so that that type of rhetoric can thrive. But there's a whole goal it's to dive the people. Wait, what? Hold on. To divide the people and united is dangerous for the system because we outnumber them massively. We could demand anything. United, divided, we fight amongst ourselves, not them. Yeah. Yeah, again, that's what they're definitely doing, creating whatever they can. All of these social constructs like race is the real oppression. We are all human under God, but we don't act like we are. Yeah, but again, a lot of people don't buy into that. It's all about race with them. But what I will say, well, no, it really more so is about family rather than race. Because if you notice in the scriptures, certain families practice certain things, or what they would call nations. Like, certain nations practice certain things. And so it really wasn't a race thing. And then sometimes you would have people out of that family who would actually I haven't seen that. You said actually they weren't called Christians, they were called Messianites, Messianics or Nazarenes. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. I think in if I'm not mistaken, it might be Romans. No, I'm sorry, it's in Acts. Acts says that they were called Christians first at Antioch. It's a lot of deception through these transliterations that have people confused, and that's why I say being religious is dangerous. Um, um, I guess maybe I have a different view. Because somebody made a good point. I might have been listening to Orlando. I don't know if you guys ever listened to any of his debates. He hosts the Speaker's Corner, and most of the time he is arguing with Muslims. But he was asking a good question. He was asking, how is it, if these transliterations are so different, how is it that the Romans could converse with the Greeks? How is it that the Romans could converse with the Greeks? It had to be that their language was pretty similar for them to be able to understand one another. And so, yeah. No, they believe he's spending eternity in semen, like in actual semen. I don't know. See, these people be doing too much, way too much. The order out of chaos. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, just way too much. And then they read this stuff with a straight face and they say it, and oh my goodness, and they believe it. This is just crazy. I think people just like crying. Too funny. Acts and First Peter, where it is mentioned. I'll have to look it up. If we're talking about the same thing right there, but yeah, I remember in Acts, if I'm not mistaken, it's in Acts, but specifically says they were called Christians first at Antioch. Um, Now I remember, I don't know why that man's name is slipping my mind. I want to call him Solomon, and his name is not Solomon. Samson. Samson was called a Nazarene, called himself a Nazarene. But there were certain stipulations to that, like he couldn't shave his hair, he couldn't drink wine, different things like that. But I don't know. I think so too, Jam. Oh, Cam. Oh, I was like, diving deep, huh? That's funny. There was a huge earthquake there that killed 20K that got minimal coverage. Wait, are we? Hold on, I missed something. I think I missed that. First Maccabees 3:48 explains this thoroughly. I'll be honest, I don't, because isn't that an apocrypha book? I don't get into those. Like certain ones, like the Book of Enoch or something like that, ones that are mentioned in the Bible, but I don't believe that Maccabees is one of our scriptures. But I will take a gander at it though. I will look at it to see what it says for knowledge. But um, remember the Renaissance period? What about it? I know a little bit about it. It's not about the tongues and how they communicated. It's about what they published to be perceived as fact and what's not fact. Mm. You can't change the scriptures, but you can leave stuff out to deceive the public. Hence why the Book of Enoch is not in the KJV. The Book of Jubilees is left out. The Book of Jasher is left out. Yeah, I agree with that. Because they deem it as not fact during the Renaissance period. Yeah, like I said, those books I can definitely say, okay, I have read the Book of Joshua, I've read the Book of Jubilees, but I've read them because they are mentioned in the Bible. I guess I'm just of the ilk that um I guess what's written is what we're supposed to have. Mm, sorry, I was itching. But yeah. But y'all, I'm going to get off of here. I really do want to finish this video or get close to finishing this video before I head to the BED. But great conversation. We've definitely touched on a lot of different topics as always. So I'm gonna head on out of here. So new video coming here soon. Yes, thank you so much for joining. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. You guys have a great week. And we will begin again tomorrow. We are continuing to read through the Bible. So if you join us there, we start at 6:30. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Bye, guys. I appreciate that. Yep, hit the like button. But y'all usually do, so I appreciate that. Okay, bye.